lined up for the Howden Handicap, and they're away with a mile and a half ahead of these runners. In the centre, Vaynor well away. Raymond Tusk is cutting across from an outside draw as they head through the first furlong or so. Crystal Delight in a pink cap handy. Capital Theory on the outside. Star Caliber, who's often a front runner, and Star Caliber is slowly working his way into the lead as they run into their one and only turn, the right-hander at the bottom end of the Rowley Mile course. And it's Star Caliber from Crystal Delight, Chimesius Fox in the blue and white hoop, followed by Vaynor and then Capital Theory. They're mostly heading a little bit off that far running rail. Ace Rothstein is probably nearest the rail as they run down now in the centre of the course. Back in the field is Obsidian Knight, Mokta Saab with the white blaze, and is a little bit of a difference of opinion developing here. Star Caliber on the right, chased by Vaynor, Capital Theory, Mokta Saab, Obsidian Knight and Stole. Edging across to the far side momentarily was Crystal Delight from Chimesius Fox, and then Pridwen and Raymond Tusk at the rear. Inside the final 6.5 furlongs, Crystal Delight on the far side, followed by Chimesius Fox. More to the centre, Star Caliber. Then in the orange jacket, white cap is Pridwen, the light green of Capital Theory, Vaynor. Then behind these is Obsidian Knight from Mokta Saab. At the back of the field still is Stole. And then on the far side, Raymond Tusk, as they now make their way on and now more towards that far side running rail and entering the final half mile. Crystal Delight, Star Caliber, black and white more to the right. Then Chimesius Fox, Mokta Saab and Vaynor. They're followed by Pridwen and Raymond Tusk and Stole, and Capital Theory now being asked to improve, followed by Obsidian Knight and Ace Rothstein just dropping away from them. Up ahead, Crystal Delight is now joined by Chimesius Fox. Chimesius Fox in the noseband ranges up to join the long-time front-running Crystal Delight, followed by Raymond Tusk, then Mokta Saab. They're getting quite strung out. Pridwen behind these. Obsidian Knight is staying on, but Chimesius Fox is going really well, running down into the dick. It's Chimesius Fox now that takes over under Oisin Murphy. Crystal Delight struggling to go with the new leader, followed by Raymond Tusk, and now rising inside the final furlong. It's Chimesius Fox, who won so easily at Kempton, looks like following up at Newmarket, being kept going here. Is Chimesius Fox by 2-3 lengths to Crystal Delight, and Chimesius Fox wins the opener. And they're off. Heredia was just a little bit slow from the stalls for this Howden British EBF Ellen Challoner Stakes. Quickly into stride, Princess Shabnam in the red sleeves. Kate Moss is handy. Gale Force Mayor in red and yellow wearing a noseband. Spring Feeding on the far side. They are tracked then by Makarova in that group with Azure Blue, Heredia and Perdica racing apart. Reclusively are both Queen Ollie and Kim and Grace on the stand side, the right-hand side of your picture. Meanwhile, Princess Shabnam cuts out the pace down the centre, more or less down the centre, from Kate Moss and Gale Force Mayor. Then Makarova and Azure Blue is within 2.5-3 lengths of the lead, followed by Spring Feeling driven along now. Then Perdica and Heredia at the back of the group. Queen Ollie is flat to the boards on the right. Kim and Grace also needs to find something as they head now towards the final furlong and a half. Makarova in the light blue coming through with Azure Blue. Azure Blue and Makarova. Princess Shabnam far side. Kate Moss battling on as they now meet the rising ground. It's just Azure Blue. Kate Moss still rallying on the near side. Perdica with Heredia, but up to the line it's Azure Blue again at Newmarket. Long hold and they're away. Above was Restless in the gate. Strike Red didn't jump out very well. Silver Samurai in the centre, the lightest colour of the greys. Lethal Levi going forward with Sound of Iona with a white blaze. Leap Abroad in the light blue. On the extreme right, Black Rod, last year's winner, leads a little group of three, chased by Probe and Admiral D. Ratia is with those as well. And then Equiano Springs and Summergan is a little way back on the right hand nearer the stand side group, followed by Popmaster. Far side Geza Sub has come through to probably lead overall from Tam Marwi, Tabdeed and St. Lawrence, and they're followed then by Chairman of the Board. Behind these Strike Red, above is Strongly Driven. Apollo 1 travels up quite well. Lethal Levi under pressure down the centre. Leap Abroad doing pretty well on the right hand side. On the stand side, Geza Sub in the noseband. Leap Abroad coming through, followed then by Chairman of the Board, and behind those is Apollo 1 Pro is running on very strongly as well as they race inside the final furlong. Chairman of the Board, here's Probe down the near side. Probe joining in with Chairman of the Board as they race up towards the line. It's Probe and Kieran O'Neill forging on. Probe wins, Chairman of the Board second. The Howden Suffolk Stakes Handicap, Heritage Handicap, the City's Phantom on the extreme right, slightly away from the others in the early strides. Going forward is Houth Farside in the all blue of Godolphin, King of Conquest, with Titian over there, trapped by Empire State of Mind, and Jimi Hendrix in light blue with darker blue sleeves towards that far side there, trapped by Cadillac and Dutch Decoy and Great Max. More down the centre is the sweaty Houth ahead of Saga for the King, and they're followed then by Dual Identity, and on the near side the City's Phantom. Majestic is just behind runners. Also behind runners is Dawn of Liberation and Notre Belle Bet towards the right. Turntable is just at the back of that group, so a couple of groups but they're not much apart, and it's Houth on the right from the City's Phantom, Saga, and then behind those is Majestic. They're Dawn of Liberation, Jimi Hendrix joining in now towards the right. Still towards the left is King of Conquest with Titian and Dutch Decoy and Cadillac and Empire State of Mind just ahead of Cadillac, then Great Max and Toshizu, and now they're racing in one group down the Rowley Mile and entering the final half mile. King of Conquest and Titian on the far side. Houth towards the near side with the City's Phantom in the grey sleeves. Jimi Hendrix is just being asked a question or two from Empire State of Mind. Dual Identity coming forward quite nicely. Saga's going all right from Dawn of Liberation and Notre Belle Bet, and then Turntable. Then on the far side, Great Max on the extreme left trying to come on late in the day from Cadillac, and then Majestic as they run on now towards the final couple of furlongs, and it's King of Conquest and Titian, these two battling on from Dutch Decoy as they race down the dip now, and they've got a couple of lengths on Dual Identity. Saga is picking up well for Frankie Dettori, and Notre Belle Bet on the near side. King of Conquest leads, starting up the hill from Dutch Decoy. Here comes Saga, Notre Belle Bet. Saga is getting there on the near side of King of Conquest. It's going to be close. King of Conquest from Saga. King of Conquest just holding Saga for the King. They're all set. Living the Dream from stall 16 could be very quick away. He is Living the Dream fast out from Existent, chased by Razel on the right as well. Chipstead in the firing line on the right with Tis Marvellous and Get Ahead, and then Vadream, and at the back of those is Corker. On the far side, splitting into two groups, it's Manakan that leads to Silky Wilkie. They're chased then by Equality, and third Twilight Calls is stuck over there with Sam Beck and Arecibo at the back of that side of the course. Living the Dream, he's so quick, Living the Dream. He's pulled 4 or 5 lengths clear of Razel second on this right hand side, followed then by Vadream. Behind those then is Existent and Tis Marvellous. They're all trying to catch the leader. Far side Manakan and Frankie Dettori leading from Silky Wilkie as they run down into the dip. Now Living the Dream this side, Manakan over on the far side from Silky Wilkie. Running on well now, Twilight Calls far side with Arecibo. Living the Dream being collared by Manakan, then Twilight Calls far side, and down the near side here's Vadream with a flying run and gets it. Vadream has grabbed the spoils from Living the Dream, and they're off for the Qipco 2,000 guineas. Away well Dubai Mile in the centre. High Royal Nose Bandit. Chaldean on the far side with Flight Plan, and they're chased by Noble Style. Towards this near side, Silver Knot very handy in the blue-white cap. On the near side, Little Big Bear along with Royal Scotsman. Then Indestructible. August Rodin is just towards the rear. It got a bit tight there with Royal Scotsman. Charon is pulling hard. Sakir is anchored at the back of the field. It's just High Royal that leads the way to Chaldean and Dubai Mile. Far side on the left, Flight Plan along with Noble Style. Towards the right is Little Big Bear, tracked by Stable Companion August Rodin. On the extreme right is Charin. Royal Scotsman hasn't really settled, probably hasn't had the best of runs. Then Indestructible held up today along with Holloway Boy, Galeron, and Sakir is still at the back of the field. Hurtling then down the Rowley Mile, they're inside the halfway stage, heading for the 3 furlong marker, and it's High Royal from Dubai Mile. Chaldean far side, Silver Knot with every chance. Then Little Big Bear, August Rodin now being asked to improve. One from the right by Ryan Moore in the blue and orange jacket. On the far side, trying to run on his Noble Style. High Royal wandering in front there from Chaldean. Chaldean with every chance. Royal Scotsman now coming through well on the stand side with Sakir, the favourite
runners well beaten. Both the O'Brien horses well beaten. They run into the dip. Chaldean and Farside, High Royal just can't run straight. Then behind those Royal Scotsman and Noble Style and Dubai Mile. Chaldean on the far side, out in front. The Dewhurst winner in the hands of Frankie Dettori in his final season, and he wins another Guineas. Chaldean wins it from High Royal.
Shaquille gave a little jump leaving the starting stalls, and Bonnie Angel leads, and this little group on the right heading towards the stand side, probably the nearest they've been to the stand side today. Absolutely isolated on the far side is Chasseral. Bonnie Angel pulling hard, leading to Shaquille, who's also rather keen, followed then by Ferris and Brave Nation. Then a little wider out is Washington Heights in the noseband with Bucker Bay, and Tenjin in touch with those, and Chasseral still forced to row her own canoe on the far side, wide apart from her rivals here. Chasseral and Oisin Murphy, it's so hard to say how she's doing at the moment, but it looks all right, but a long way to go. Over 2 furlongs to go. On this near side, Bonnie Angel from Shaquille, ridden along Washington Heights, likewise is Bucker Bay. In behind them is Ferris now beginning to run on. They run down into the dip with just over a furlong to go. Still Chasseral all alone on the far side, but I think they're ahead on this near side. It's Shaquille from Washington Heights and Ferris. Chasseral still alone far side. Shaquille is dominating on the near side. Shaquille coming clear and will win this pretty comfortably. Just pushed out. Second, Washington Heights. One of the runners pouring the ground. It might be Grand Central or Jahid, but they come out at a good line. Chartwell House is restrained early on. Grand Central is vigorously ridden in the red and green jacket to play a leading role as they race through the first furlong. Jahid in the green and white. Divine Libra is handy in pink, and the leader even gets a little reminder there. On the left is Striking Star in the Godolphin blue jacket. Blue-white with the red cap, Teriak. Grand Central quite vigorously ridden by Josephine Gordon. On the right is Verdansk, and held up at the back Chartwell House, and finally Yakovlev. So racing through the early stages here and on now towards the final 3.5 furlongs. Grand Central hasn't been on the bridle from the word go here, ridden hard with Jahid in moving up much more smoothly, followed by Teriak and Divine Libra, and then Striking Star nudged along now by William Buick on the extreme left. Then to the right is Verdansk, the right of Teriak, who's hanging slightly from Chartwell House, and Yakovlev. They're spread right across the course as they race on now, passing the bushes inside the final turn. Striking Star found plenty for a little bit of a push and a shove, coming there strongly with Divine Libra. Verdansk on the right, just hanging slightly down into the dip, and Yakovlev is running on strongly on the far side. Yakovlev comes to take Striking Star as they race up the hill. Yakovlev on the far side. Striking Star is trying to fight back. Yakovlev by a half length. Striking Star is just going to be held, and it's Ryan Moore and Yakovlev that wins the last.